Okay, welcome everybody to shiur number 4, I think, in Torah Vav in Likutei Moharan. We're really getting into some deep stuff here, and we're really still just at the beginning of this holy piece of Torah. And everything that we are doing in this Torah is putting a new piece of a puzzle together that as we get further on into the Torah, we're going to see how all the pieces of the puzzle fit together. So it's really important, as we've said from the beginning, that everybody try their very best to hold cup, to understand, to remember at each point as we go through this Torah, and to be able to hold all those things together, because when they come together, it's a mind-blowing experience. Welcome. And I want to remind everybody, I don't have the poster in front of me, but Rav Shalom Arush is coming November 4th. And I know I say it every time, but no one should miss the opportunity to be able to spend time with the tzaddik, with Rav Arush, and to be able to connect with him in whatever way possible, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's coming out to his lecture on November 4th at the Kehila Center. Everyone should chaperein. It's, Rabbi Nachman speaks over and over again about the importance of connecting to righteous people, both living and Sheikhnei Afar, sleeping in the ground. And when we have an opportunity, they come to our city, right? Don't miss out, right? We're not saying you have to fly all the way to New York, although maybe it's worth it, right? But he's coming to the city. We gotta chaperein. Don't forget. I'm talking to myself, by the way. Okay, So also, this is going to be our last shiur before the holiday season, because next week already, we're Wednesday leaving for Uman, and we'll be there for that week. And then the week after that is already Wednesday is Yom Kippur, and then we'll see what happens over Sukkot and Chol HaMoed. I haven't looked carefully enough at the calendar, but we're going to really try and chaperein in this shiur and move on to Elul, to Rosh Hashanah, ready to stand in front of the Melech. And lastly, if you are watching these shiurim on YouTube, please make sure to like them and to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The more that this happens, the more it gets out to different people, the more the special Torah of Rabbi Nachman can get shared, and we can have a hand in it. Marcia was telling me this week about a few times that she's given a copy of a certain book, The Garden of Emunah, to people, and how in difficult times in their lives they've read this book and it's been like life-saving for them, right? I know other people at the table here have seen certain books. Someone has seen The Garden of Gratitude, and it's been like a life-changing experience, right? So to get this Torah out to people, it's mamash a chesed. It's mamash, sometimes it's life-saving, right? So we should do whatever we can as a chevra together to get it out there. Okay. So a very, very quick review, very, very quick. And I apologize to those who haven't been here from the beginning that you're not able to experience the gewaltigkeit and the unbelievable nature of the first part that we got through so far. But in short review, so the main ideas were the idea of minimizing our own honor and increasing the honor of Hashem. And as we always said, those two things have to be done together. We can't raise up our own honor and the honor of Hashem at the same time. When we raise up our own honor and we build up our own ego, we lower down the honor of Hashem. It's only one can happen. So when we lower down our own honor and raise up the honor of Hashem, that's the goal. And this is done, the main way that this is done is by when we hear our own bizyonis, when we hear our own embarrassment to our face, and we don't react. We don't react in a verbal way. We are silent in two ways. The lashon of Rabbeinu is yidom v'yishtaik. You're silent and silent, meaning you're silent on the outside. We don't yell and react to the situation, but also we don't get our blood boiling on the inside. We're able to be in control. Why? Because we're not worried about our own honor. We're worried about the honor of Hashem, and we're worried about the true purpose in life. And we're not worried about these little things. And we said also that a person who's coming to do this tremendous avodah of of raising up the honor of Hashem and becoming a humble person, which is really the goal. And by doing this, connecting to Hashem in a very deep way, that has to happen through the realm of Keser. Keser, of course, is the uppermost of all the spheres, is the loftiest of all the spheres. It's hidden. And that honor that we're ascribing to Hashem and that is given to us if we do this in the right way is called Kavod Elokim. It's called godly honor, Haster Davar. It's a hidden matter. The sphere of Keser is hidden. The sphere of Keser is above everything. And the sphere of Keser is related to the word Hamtein, which is to wait. If you remember the story in the Gemara that we said that Habal L'Taher, someone who comes to purify themselves, someone who wants to do tshuva, who wants to grow in ruchnius, right? The Gemara gave a mashal. It said someone who came to a store to buy a parsimon, but to buy balsam oil. And the storekeeper said to them, Hamtein, wait, just wait a minute. And I'll come, and together we'll scale out the balsam oil, and we'll both develop a beautiful smell from working together. The idea of waiting is a big part of tshuva, we said, and it's connected to this realm of keser. How do we see that? The pasuk says in Nach, Katarli va'achavecha, wait a little bit for me. The word katar and keser are the same letters, the same word, and they mean to wait. So we developed this concept of when we're doing tshuva, we can't always run. We can't always run too far at one time. Sometimes we have to be able to be doing tshuva and exist in the realm of tshuva for a little bit. And if you remember, it didn't mean that we're not striving to get closer to Hashem. It meant that wherever I find myself experiencing difficulty and I'm trying to connect to Hashem and I'm trying to do tshuva, I should not be upset and I should not lose hope and I should not think that I'm not here for a reason. Hashem put me here. I'm in this realm right now, struggling and having a difficult time and trying to do tshuva, and I keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? Chas v'sholom, I should lose hope and think that Hashem doesn't care about me. I'm here for a reason. I have work to do in this place that I am right now, right? That's the idea of Hamtein. Even though I'm trying to get out and I'm trying to get closer to Hashem, I have to wait and understand that I have work to do where I am on my journey, right? And after that, we said this idea, now that we're working on doing tshuva and we are attaining this realm of keser, we said the name of Hashem that is the name of tshuva is the name Ekyeh, right? What does the name Ekyeh mean? Do we remember? It means I will be, right? And the Zohar translates it as I'm zamin lemeheve. I'm ready to exist. I'm ready to start existing. This is a very, very important name, a very, very important concept in tshuva, a very, very important name in Elul, in Chodesh Elul, as we're going to see. Ekyeh, I'm ready to be a new person. I'm ready to move to the next level. At every point, I'm not backwards. I'm not hanging on to the past. I'm not upset about the person that I was. I'm not being held back by negativity or guilt or all those bad words. Rather, I'm always ready to go. I'm always ready to exist on my next level of tshuva. And with that, we said the concept that we spent most of the time talking about last week, which is tshuva al tshuva. And that means that basically breaking into three levels, that when I first do tshuva, the idea is that I should do it in a certain way. Then I have to do the next level of tshuva, meaning that, as we explained with many examples last week, sometimes when we do tshuva, it's not free of ulterior motives. Sometimes when I'm doing tshuva, I'm doing it because, as the famous example that I always like to use, I know if someone's trying to stop eating so much and lose weight, right, then sometimes if they're doing that, they're telling themselves they're doing it for a spiritual reason, really they also want to look good in their new outfit. And they want everyone to think they look good, and they want the body image. It's important. And it's a big issue nowadays. So am I doing tshuva because I want to be more of a spiritual person and less of an animal? And I don't want to just eat like a dog eats? Rather, I want to focus on ruchnius and only eat what my body needs to serve Hashem. Or do I have ulterior motives also? So the next level of tshuva is to do tshuva with no ulterior motive, just for a pure reason. And the third level of tshuva al tshuva was that I look back after doing this pure tshuva, now I come to a higher level where I'm closer to Hashem. And I'm on a higher spiritual plane. And from that spiritual plane, I look back down to where I was. And I look back down to that tshuva that I did. And I say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's the way that I said sorry to you, Hashem. I can't believe that that's the level I can't believe the way I perceived you. The way that I talked to you at that level. Wow. Now I'm doing tshuva on that original tshuva that I did. And you remember the story that we made up about the person who worked for a very benevolent boss, and he stole from him, and then at the end he found out that this boss was an amazing person, and he was so kind and loving and helped everybody. And in the end he went to the boss and he said, I know I said sorry that I stole from you in the beginning, but now I just want to tell you, I can't believe that I stole from you. How could I have stolen from you? I can't believe I just said sorry to you like it was nothing, right? That's the next level of tshuva. Okay, so we're trying to do tshuva. We're trying to move forward. We're trying to give all the honor to Hashem. We're doing all the right moves. We're minimizing our own honor and raising up the honor of Hashem. And we're ready to exist. We're holding by Ekye. We're in the realm of Keser. We're doing serious tshuva. And now tshuva told us that there's no end. I can keep going closer and closer to Hashem. That's where we finished last week. Almost. We started this new point now, but we're going to start this new point again. And it's starting on page 258 in the English, Ois Daled in the Hebrew. And it's a very, very, very special idea. And we spoke about it a little bit last week, but we're going to flush it out a little bit more this week. Okay. When a person wants to go in the paths of tshuva. Notice it's not the derech of tshuva. It's not the path of tshuva. It's the paths of tshuva. There's many different paths to tshuva, and we're going to focus on two. Tzarich liya is baki b'halacha. This person has to be an expert in halacha. Once again, what does halacha mean? Plain meaning? I'm really asking? Walking, good. What else does it mean to Jews, as we know? Jewish law. Very good. So it says, Rabbi Chaim is going to explain this as being Jewish law in a certain way, but the plain meaning of this, for sure, is as Rabbi Yonah just said, a person has to be an expert in moving, in going, in walking. If you're going to do tshuva and you're going to move towards Hashem, you're always moving, you got to be an expert in moving. And this person has to have two expertises, two, I don't know what the plural is, two expertise in different ways of going. Hainu, baki baratzoi, baki v'shoiv. He has to be an expert in going up and an expert in returning. Kimo shekasuv, like the pasuk says in the Zohar, Zakah man da'ayil v'nafik. Fortunate, happy, praiseworthy is the person who goes up and comes down. We'll explain that in 1 second. And this is what the pasuk says in Tehillim, I believe. Im esak shamayim sham ata. If I will ascend to shamayim, to heaven, sham ata, you're there, Hashem. Bechinas ayil, that's going up. That's bechinas baki baratzeh. That's being an expert in moving up. Meaning what? The general way to understand this is when I get up to a high level, when I'm moving forward and I'm doing tshuva and everything is aligning and things are going good and I'm inspired and just my avodas Hashem is like all the cylinders are firing, right? That is called ayil. That's called going up. That's called ratzoi. That's called moving forward. And when I'm at that place, where do I see Hashem? Sham ata. I'm here. I've gotten up to Shemayim. I'm on a great level. Hashem, you're still way up there, right? What's that relationship? That means I have to still, at that level, as we've been saying, I have to humble myself. I have to realize that even though I'm doing pretty good and I've gotten to this high level, chas v'shalom, I should become a bal gaiva, I should become a person of ego. Rather, I have to know that where I am, Hashem is still way, way, way above me. And there's always ways to go to get to Hashem. A little kid, actually, once, one of the little kids of one of the people that comes to our shul, actually, his father was talking to him about the concept of infinity. And this little child said, well, wait a second. If Hashem is infinite, then if someone moves up a little bit, and another person moves up a lot more, they're both still the same distance away from Hashem. They're both still infinity away from Hashem. Do you hear that? This little kid, 6-year-old kid said this.
Wow.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Wow.
Right? But it's exactly what we're saying over here. You get up to a certain high level and you think, oh, I got a really long beard. Check me out. And, I got a lot of books in my house, right? I must be on a very, very high level. Forget it. That is the exact wrong way to look at life. Really, I have to look and say, the higher that I get up, the more I realize that I'm far, far from Hashem. And there's lots and lots of room that I can make, lots of moves that I can make to get closer to Hashem. That's im esak shamayim. Remember this pasuk, by the way, in your brain. Burn it in, because this is going to be one of the keys to the whole Torah. Im esak shamayim. If I go up to shamayim, sham ata. You are there. There. Not here. There. And the second part of the pasuk says, va'atzia sha'ol. And if I will make my bed in the pit, meaning if I'm low, and let's say if things are not going my way, and I'm in a low place, and I keep getting hit in life with difficulties, and as a result of my difficulties, my mood gets lower, and my avodas Hashem gets worse, and I'm not doing great with my mitzvahs and with my avodas Hashem. Maybe I'm doing averas that I'm not proud of, and I'm in this low, low place. And it's painful. There's tears and suffering. It's a bad place, and I'm there, right? What's my avodah over there? Vatzia sho'el, if I make my bed in that place, hineka. It doesn't say you're there. It says at that place, here you are. You're here with me. Hashem is with me in this place. A Jew has to know that when I'm in that low place, that Hashem is there as if He's my father holding my hand, as if He's my parent holding my hand and helping me through the situation. We say in davening, we said last time, Imay anochi batzara. Hashem says, I am with you in your tsar. Right? When we're experiencing tsar, just 1 second. Did anyone park in the driveway?
Yes. Yeah.
If anyone parked in the driveway, if they could, we have a tenant here and they need to park there. Yeah. Sorry, thank you. So when we're down in that low place, we have to know that Hashem is there. Hashem is with us. Hashem is holding our hand. That's the place where Hashem is there with us in our journey. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted by the doorbell ringing. So I want to read something to you. This, someone sent me this week. I would say coincidentally, but we know that's all a silly thing to say. Someone sent me this. So this is a sort of prose-like translation, if you could call it, by Rebbe Tzvi Friedman. He used to be from Toronto. Everyone knows him, I'm sure, here, right? So it's basically bringing together an idea from one of the Mamorim of the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, in 5726. I don't know. Lubavitchers are good with dates. I don't really know the dates. What?
53 years ago.
Okay, there we go. So 53 years ago, listen to this. Just, one of my favorite things is when you see the amazing depth in Chassidus and how this whole package of unbelievable Torah and inspiration can be built down a unique path. And then you see something from another path in Chassidus. And they line up together, and it's like they were sitting together as chavrusas and made the thing up at the same time, and they're both plugged in. And I always love to see this because I always people are very much about differences, and you're this type of Jew and you're this type of Jew. And when it comes down to the root, right, we're all plugged into the same place. So everything we're talking about, listen to this. This is beautiful. If I wish to find all that is real and true at its very core, I would not find it in the ecstasy of the prayer of the devoted, nor in the epiphanies of the enlightened. I would not find it in the deeds of the righteous, nor in the love and kindness of those who live in harmony. There I would find a blinding light, an infinite light, but I would not find God Himself. If I wish to find God as He is at His essence, beyond all light and darkness, beyond the infinite and the boundless, I would come to the place of those who struggle daily to escape their muck and mire, those who labor to pierce the wall of their prison so that even a glimmer of light could break through. and even as they fail, try again and again. For this labor, all light was created. To the aid of this struggle, God himself descends. Then those prison walls are pierced. The Creator exclaims, it was worth it. All this creation, it was all worth it for this alone. Can you believe how much that is exactly what we're talking about here? It's mamish unbelievable. This is what we're saying. When we get down to that low place, right? That's the place where Hashem is there with us. And He's helping us. He's holding our hand. He's pulling us through. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe is talking about it. Rabbi Nachman's talking about it. The Zohar is talking about it. Right? Pnimius HaTorah brings it all together. It's amazing. Baruch Hashem. Okay. So let's get a little bit into this. The Rabbeinu brought this pasuk from the Zohar. It says, Zaka man da'ayel v'nafik. Fortunate is the person who goes up and comes down. The rest of that statement is b'shalom. Fortunate is the person who goes up and comes down b'shalom. And we know an example of this, a famous example of this that we have all heard about, and it's a Gemara that is referred to as Arba Nichnasu Lapardes. 4 went up to paradise, Shemayim, right? And we know that there was Ben Azai, Ben Zoma, Elisha ben Neviah Acher, and Rabbi Akiva. And they all went up. They were together. They uttered the Shema Meforish, the special name of Hashem, and they went up into the very, very high, lofty worlds. And the Gemara tells us that for 3 of them it didn't work out so well, right? So Ben Azai went up, and he died. Ben Zoma went up and came down. It died. Ben Zoma went up and came down and was crazy, like insane crazy. Acher went up, Elisha went up, and he came down as an apikoros. And it says Rabbi Akiva, right? He nichnas v'shalom v'yotze v'shalom. He went in peace and came out in peace. Only Rabbi Akiva was able to go up and down in peace and come out whole, complete. So just a couple of ideas on this that we don't usually hear, right? That's usually all we hear, right? But there's a deeper way to understand this, which just paints a little bit more of a picture of the things that we're talking about here. So when we say that Ben Azai went up and he died, the deeper explanation of that is not that he like touched some bolt of electricity that he wasn't supposed to and fried and that was it. The deeper idea is that he got up to this high place, and this place was so high and so spiritually special. He was in such a form of ecstasy that his neshama refused to come back to his body. He was in such a high place that was it. He's not leaving. And while we're doing some Lubavitch crossover, the Alter Rebbe in Tanya talks about this concept of having kolesa nefesh, where someone gets into such a state of spiritual ecstasy and tefillah, I think is where he says it, that the person's neshama wants to leave their body, right? And they want to leave and it doesn't want to come back. But l'maisa, that's not what Hashem wants. Hashem didn't create the world for this type of existence. He wants us to be here in our bodies doing the avodah we need to do. So this Ben Azai, he got to such a high place, and his mistake, the thing that he did that was incorrect, was that he stayed up there. And he got lost up there, let's say. He didn't come back down, and he died. Right? Ben Zoma went crazy. The deeper way of understanding it is not that he just, got his brain mangled and turned into someone who was not able to speak. They said that he would speak and no one would understand what he was saying. The deeper way of understanding it is that he got up to such a high level and he saw things so deep, so beyond our ability to perceive, that when he came back down and he was talking about how he sees the world now, what he sees, this perspective from a very, very high place, he sees the truth on a deep, deep level, but we can't see it. Right? He's been up in the highest, most spiritual realm, and he's seen something that is absolute truth. But to us, it seems like gibberish. So it says that he went crazy and people couldn't understand what he was saying, but really, he was also stuck in such a high level, in such a high place, that he could no longer relate to life on this level. Right? Acher, the famous Acher, he went up and saw something and came back down on Apikoros. So the deeper way to understand it is, and this is the one that relates most to our Torah, that he saw something that he could not understand. He saw something that did not make sense to him, right? But instead, what does a humble person do in such a situation? He gets closer and closer, the closest to Hashem that a person can be. And he sees something that he doesn't get, right? So he should have said, wow, this is beyond my pay grade. I don't understand, right? I'm basar v'dam, I'm flesh and blood. I'm not on this level. I don't understand what's happening. I'm going to go back down and try to work through it. I'm going to speak to Rabbi Akiva, right? I'm going to try and sort it out. But he didn't do that. He saw something and it didn't make sense to him. And he didn't humble himself. Rather, he raised himself up and took Hashem down and said, something's wrong up here. Something's wrong with Hashem, not something's wrong with me. You hear? Something's wrong with Hashem, not something's wrong with me. And that sent him off the derech. And he became what's called Acher. And only Rabbi Akiva was Nichnas b'Shalom and Yotze b'Shalom. The Tikkunei Zohar over here tells us a lot about this story. We have a clear understanding of how Acher relates to our Torah. But the other main idea that the Zohar tells over there is that a person has to be careful that when they're going up and up and up and up, that they don't go above their level where they should be at. And they don't reach too far up. It's also a function of humility, right? I think I can go farther. I think I can go farther. I think I can go farther. Everyone's heard, there's a big difference in the way that certain groups of Jews treat Kabbalah, right? Some people are some groups, Sephardim for example, many Sephardim anyway, I won't speak for them all, they have young kids, they're maybe less than bar mitzvah even, are reading the Zohar every Shabbos, right? And are reading Kabbalah. Little Hasidic kids are starting to learn Kabbalistic concepts and learning deep Hasidic concepts from a young age, right? And then you have the let's say more of the yeshivish Litvish world where there's no Kabbalah until you're 40, and then we don't even like it, right? And this happened for various reasons, but one of the main reasons it happened is because of situations where people reached too far and people got up into a place that was too high and they couldn't handle themselves there, right? They went too high. Obviously everyone knows the situation of Shabbatai Tzvi, Yimach Shemai, that he went up to, he was a very big Talmid Chacham, and he was a very charismatic person, and he knew the depths of Kabbalah, and he was able to develop a huge following. And from that place, where he was in a place that was too high, and that he wasn't a bucky in going up, he wasn't an expert in moving forward and moving up. From that place, he started a whole movement. He started saying that it's times of Mashiach now. I'm Mashiach, he said, and he started doing something that doing averas, what's called averas lishma. And after Mashiach comes, certain things that were forbidden are going to be permitted. So they said, well, Mashiach's here already. And they would eat chazer. They would do it, make an avodah of it. Like doing it as a chevra, right? This is what happened. So this is going too far. This is going up. This is not being a baki in ayil, not being a baki in ratzoi, right? This is also an aspect of the avodah that we have to do. But for our purposes, we have to understand this aspect that we're moving forward in tshuva, we're moving up, and sometimes I'm on fire, sometimes I'm inspired, and at that point, there's avodas Hashem to do. There's something to do there, right? You're going to be in Uman soon, right? So there's a different avodah in Uman than there is on Thursday morning in Thornhill, right?
At certain times.
It's different, right? And who knows? You're not going to sleep a lot in Uman, and there's going to be a lot of ruchnias and a lot of different avodah. It's a different thing. So too, when we're inspired and when we're on top of the world, right? Then Hashem expects a certain type of avodah from us, and we can learn more, and we can daven more, and we can help people more. We can do all these things more. But when I'm down in the dumps and things are going difficult, and I'm experiencing pain and difficulty, there's also an avodah in that. And it doesn't mean that from that place I cast everything off. And I say, that's too much for me, that's it. I'm gonna, just sit at home and watch movies for a week. Or worse, chas v'shalom. Right? It means that even in that place, Hashem doesn't expect me to do the same avodah that I would do if I was on top of the world. Right? He doesn't. Yeah?
Why not? The Eibishter is everywhere.
The Eibishter is everywhere, and He expects me to do avodah. But He knows there's a different avodah when I'm flying. Like often when I hear people explaining this, they say it just applies to a smaller portion of our audience here, really. But when I'm flying and flying and flying, maybe the Rebbeinu Shalom expects me to learn 3 blot of Gemara that day, right? And I've got energy and I'm going. But when I'm down in the dumps, maybe He doesn't expect me to learn 3 blot of Gemara, but He still expects me to learn maybe 1 blot. And He still expects me to get up and put my tefillin on and to do what I can do that day. But it's different. And a person needs to acknowledge that. Because if not, they can be in that low place and say, ugh, I just can't learn 5 blot of Gemara today, so I'm giving up. No. Whatever you can do, Hashem expects you to do it. That's the idea. And from a place of pain and a place of difficulty, there's avodas Hashem, and that's the point where Hashem is standing in front of you, holding your hand, and pulling you along, and doing what He can, and giving you what He can to help you through. So, I want to go into a subject here that is slightly off the page, but I think it's important to discuss, and I think we can all relate to it. So, I guess this is the subject that people talk about, which they like to title, Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? Right? But within the context of what we're talking about here. Why do I need to find myself sometimes in a really hard situation? I know there's people at this table right now that are going through very difficult things. Very, very hard. And I know I've gone through very, very hard things. And sometimes it's painful and it's hard to fight. Really, really difficult. And there's tears and there's suffering. Why? What's going on? What has to happen? So I don't want to say this in an insensitive way, but I want us to develop an intellectual understanding of some aspects of what could be going on in these situations. Just so we have the headspace that when we're facing difficult situations, we can move forward and we can have the right mindset. Last week, Sandra said to me, "You didn't say the word emunah in that whole speech," right? So how are we going to look? We're going to look at this type of situation from the perspective of emunah, with emunah glasses, and what are we going to see? So, why may I be struggling? May I be suffering? So first of all, let's say like this. We're here for a purpose. We know. The Arizal says that we're all put into this world for a tikkun. We all have a tikkun, a Laser Brody, soul correction. We all have a soul correction that we have to do. We're here for a purpose to do something, right? And while we're here for a purpose, everything that happens to us is happening to help us to fulfill that purpose. Hashem is giving us what we need to be able to fulfill that purpose, right? So, maybe the difficulty that I'm going through is because, for example, I need to build my spiritual muscles. I need to work through something to become stronger in a certain aspect of my koiches nefesh, my midas, my character traits. Right? The depth of my soul needs to be strengthened so that I can get closer to Hashem, so I can move to the next level. So, as we know, I think we spoke about this last week, this one. You have people who are muscle-bound people. Muscle bodybuilders, right? Bodybuilders. So what do? They lift weights. Why are they lifting weights? Why are they expending all this energy, right? And they're sweating, and they're making faces, and they're in pain every time they're lifting up these heavy weights and pulling them down. And this is one of the many stories where we say that if an alien would come from another world and look down and go into a gym, he would say to himself, the alien in English, he would say to himself, what's happening to these poor people? It's a torture chamber. Look at their faces. And they're sweating and they're being forced hard labor, right? But the muscle bodybuilder who's in the gym, he's in there of his own free will. Not only that, he loves every minute of it, right? Why? Because he knows that every time he lifts up and goes down, those muscles are shredding a little bit and the capillaries are breaking, maybe on a more microscopic level, I don't know. And then when he's going to stop for that day and give it a rest for a while, they're going to heal and they're going to be bigger because of the healing. And every time he's doing that, he's building his muscles. And he knows that pain and that difficulty and the sweat and the grimacing of his face really is for the purpose of building his muscles. So too, sometimes that could be why we're facing a difficulty. Why we have to struggle through something and we have to try hard and we got to go through it seemingly over and over again and we keep failing, right? Because every time we go through that, we're tearing some muscle, and then we come back and we let it heal and we go again and we're getting stronger and stronger until we suddenly find ourselves as a strong person on the next level, and those things that used to pull me down don't pull me down anymore. Why? Because I'm stronger. I have more emunah. I have more connection to Hashem. I will not be pulled down by those things anymore. Right? That's one aspect. What else could be? We know that in Judaism there's a very strong concept of reincarnation. Right? So there's a whole section of the Kisvei Arizal, of the Kabbalistic writings of the Ari, is called Shar HaGilgulim, the gate of reincarnations. So we know this is a concept. Beautiful story told about the Baal Shem Tov that illustrates this very well. I like to tell this story a lot, so you'll probably hear it from me many times if you haven't already. But someone came to the Arizal, a holy person, a special holy person, to the Baal Shem Tov, and said to him, Rebbe, I need some help, I need some advice. I was just involved in a din Torah. I was involved in a monetary dispute, and with someone that I know. And this person, the other side of the story, is a righteous person also. He probably didn't say also, that would be a little arrogant, but let's remove also from the story. The other person is a very righteous person. He's a good person, right? And we had this monetary dispute. And neither of us is trying to hurt the other person. We have a real dispute. So we went to a Bezdin, we went to a rabbinical court. And the three rabbis on this Bezdin were holy people, very holy people. And we all know that when a Bezdin comes together and the three rabbis are holy people, the Shekhinah rests on this Bezdin, right? And they can't make a mistake. Whatever din comes down is like a form of prophecy. So we went to the Bezdin. Me, he's not calling himself holy, and this other holy person, and the three holy judges, and we came and went through this thing. And it came out that I had to pay the other guy $1,000, or rubles, or whatever it was. Right? And so the Baal Shem Tov said, okay, great. What did you want to talk about? And he said, Rebbe, I know that everyone was holy, and everyone was trying to do the right thing. And I know the Shekhinah was with that Bezdin, and I know that their decision must have been the right decision. But Rebbe, I know that I'm right. I know I'm not trying to be a arrogant person, but I know that I don't owe that guy $1,000. What's happening? What's going on? So this person did the right thing. He didn't get mad and he didn't get upset and he didn't go and start a fight. He went to the Baal Shem Tov. And the Baal Shem Tov said to him, you're right. In this case, you really are correct and you don't owe that person $1,000. But what you don't know is that you were connected to this person in your previous existence, in your previous life. And in your previous life, you owed this person 1,000 whatevers, rubles. And it had to come to a situation now where you two would meet. And you would have to give him that money when you didn't actually owe it to him to repay what you owed him in the past life. And now that you all came together in a holy way and you did this, you made a tremendous tikkun, a tremendous correction in the realm of spirituality. And you fixed things that were broken and caused a lot of shefa to come into the world. And this needed to happen. Meaning what? A pill that's a little harder to swallow sometimes is that sometimes it doesn't make sense. And sometimes we can be trying with all of our best intentions and we can really, really be trying to do the right thing and be a good person and ask the right advice and everything. And it doesn't go. And it ends up being painful and it ends up being difficult and ends up having suffering, right? And sometimes there's a past life that needs to be fixed up. There's a tikkun that needs to happen, right? And this is part of the exact same situation we're talking about. Ayil v'nafik. I have to know that when I'm up, I need to humble myself and know Hashem's farther away. I have to know that when I'm down, that Hashem is with me. And like Sandra is saying, with my emunah glasses, I have to have emunah. That whatever Hashem is giving to me right now is meant for me. It's meant for me. We all know that if we have children, that we need to raise them. We need to teach them and lift them up to be good people and to grow, to be closer to Hashem. Even just to be good people, human beings in the world with proper midas, right? So sometimes we have to allow them to go through difficult situations. And if every time they're facing something difficult, we swoop in and pull them out, it's not gonna be good down the line. They're not gonna build any strength, they're not gonna build any character, they're not gonna build any independence. So we know this, right? Sometimes we have to be allowed to go through difficult situations and make our way through. And it has to happen this way. So these are just a few examples that I think are always important to understand. Because we all know that we experience highs and we experience lows. This concept is in the Lashon of Rabbeinu is called Aliyah, Yerida Tachlis Aliyah, meaning that we go through a descent for the ultimate end goal of an ascent. I think in Lubavitch it's called Yerida Tzricha Aliyah. Same thing, exact same thing. And we have to know, like we said last week, the stock market, right? Sometimes we're always going up. But sometimes on that path up, we go down for a while. And we hit a bottom, and then we go up higher. And then we go down again, and then we go higher. We always have to bend down in order to reach up. We always have to bend our legs in order to jump higher. We always have to go onto the trampoline and spring down in order to spring up, right? It's the law of the universe and the law of nature, and it just has to happen. And you know, wherever we find ourselves on this pathway, we have to be a bucky. We have to be an expert. We have to have it on the front of our minds. So wherever we are, sometimes the scariest place is right in the middle. Things are going okay. What's going to be? What's going to happen? And I have to be able to exist in the realm of, I don't care. Whatever Hashem has for me, whatever Hashem gives me today, I'm going to face and I'm going to be an expert. I'm going to be a bucky. And I'm just going to have emunah, and I'm going to know that everything Hashem is giving to me, He is doing for me and not to me. Everything I'm experiencing is for me and is ultimately the kindness from Hashem.
He says also, though, like when you're going from level to level,
Yeah.
that you always encounter the husks at the new level. So, like, even if you're thinking, you know, things are going good, and all of a sudden, he says it doesn't mean that you're not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just you're reaching a new level, and first you have to go through these shelves
100%.
of the house, so it seems like you've dropped.
100%.
And that's a big
Beautiful
See,
points.
But a lot of people, when they do that, they feel like they're back at square one, but
Yep.
they're not.
Right?
But they're not.
It's
They're
this exact thing
They're
still.
supposed to use what they know
Yeah.
to deal with the new.
So really,
yeah.
that experience is exactly what we're talking about here.
Right, right.
He's quoting from, I believe, Torah Chaf Dalet. And in Chaf Dalet, the Rabbi Nachman explains that every time we get to, and do you remember this, Carmela? Oh, this is Gavaldik. Every time we get to a new level, right? So we just broke through something. And every time we go to a new level, the negative forces are trying to prevent us from breaking into that level. So if we're experiencing easiness and things are going well, it means that we just passed something. And now we're getting to the next level. The forces of the klippas are going to try and stop us, and we have to break through them. So as soon as we start facing difficulty, and we start feeling this, it actually, we're tempted to think, oh, Hashem must hate me. Why is he doing this to me? Why is he giving me this difficulty? Really what's happened is I just got to a new level. And now that I'm at this new level, I just went up a level. And now that I'm at this higher level, I have to break through. Now I'm facing the new challenges of that higher level, right? It's like someone who's getting a promotion in a big company, right? He was working for other people in a cubicle in a big office, right? And all of a sudden, he gets promoted to be the manager of that whole floor of cubicles, right? So what happens? There's a party, and a promotion party, very exciting. And then the next day, he shows up into work, and every single one of those people has a complaint. And every single one of those people is upset with him, and why did he get it and I didn't get it? And he has to fight now at that level, right? Because he got to a new level. The job is more difficult. There's new stuff to do, right? Good point.
No, but also the
Very
thing
good.
is, you have to. He's saying, the Rebbe was saying that you have to use what you learned in the last level now in the new level. That's the test. Like the things you just learned, you're being challenged. You have to use them now to win, to get through the next level. Right?
Very
it's always
good.
going to be that way. It's never
Very good. Very good. Okay, ready for Elul, guys? V'zeh, and this is page 262. Ani ledoidi v'doidi li. Everybody knows this pasuk from Shir HaShirim. It's the love song that people sing at their weddings. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. So, this our sages tell us is going on Chodesh Elul, the month of Elul, and we see in different ways. Rabbi Nachman's explanation of it, from everything that we've said, is a whole new perspective. What's ani ledoidi v'doidi li? Ani ledoidi ze b'chinas ayil. When I'm going up, ani ledoidi. The lamed preposition in Hebrew means toward. I'm going to Hashem, but Hashem is always far away from me, right? I'm going towards Hashem, but He's up there. Ani ledoidi, right? V'doidi li, and my beloved is to me. Ze b'chinas nafik. This is when I'm down. V'zeh soid kavanat el, v'zeh ikar kavodah. Now, what's nafik? What's when I'm down? It's not that I'm going towards Hashem. It's Hashem is coming to me. Hashem is with me. You hear this? When I'm going up, ani ledoidi, I'm moving towards Hashem, but He's always higher, and I can always be humble. But when I'm in pain and difficulty, ledoidi li, Hashem is with me. Hashem is coming to me. My beloved is coming to me. And he says, Mzeh soid kavanas el. If you look in the Kisvei Arizal, you will see this brought down in the holy Kabbalistic writings. V'zeh ikar kavoidoi. And this is the main honor to Hashem. When we can exist in this realm, where whether we're moving up or we're moving down, we know Hashem is with us. Right? If I'm moving up, I'm moving towards Hashem, and I have my Ratzui game on. I know what I'm doing. I'm moving towards Hashem, and I know He's far away, and I'm humble, and I'm happy. And when I'm down in the low place, I know that Hashem is with me, and I know that He's holding my hand, and I know that everything He's giving to me is for my benefit. And I have emunah in both cases. And in both places, I know that I have a different avodah, but I know that I still have an avodah, and I know that Hashem has put me there for a reason. Right? This is the main honor to Hashem. If I can be that person, if we can be those people, and whatever situation we're facing in life, we're doing it with emunah, wow. That's the ikar kavodah. B'zeh, and this is what the pasuk says, v'chibadtoi ma'asos derachecha. So, and you should honor him from doing your ways, from doing your ways, from refraining from doing your ways. So this pasuk is the source for many of the things that we don't do on Shabbos. Like everybody knows on Shabbos you're not supposed to run, right? You're supposed to walk differently on Shabbos. You're supposed to, there's many things. There's a few psukim in Nach over here that teach us these concepts, and this is one of them. You're not allowed to do your business on Shabbos, even though there's really nothing wrong with talking business from a Torah perspective. The rabbis told us, don't do it. From this pasuk. So that's what that pasuk means in a simple meaning. Drachecha, loshen rabim. But you see, according to what we're saying on a deeper level, drachecha is plural. Different paths. Honor Hashem on different paths, on these two paths. Hainu ayil v'nafik. Whether you're moving up and forward or whether you're coming down, you have to honor Hashem. In both paths. And when you have these two aspects of expertise in halacha, in moving, then you are walking in the paths, the ways of tshuva. And then you are going to merit to have this godly honor. Like the pasuk says, honor him from doing your ways, your paths. You will merit to this level of keser. We already explained earlier on that the word kavod is connected to the surah of keser, the high level of keser, which is connected to the name of Ekya of Hashem, which is connected to tshuva. Va'az yamin Hashem peshuta lekabel tshuva. And then Hashem's right hand is put out to receive the tshuva that you are doing. So that ends this aspect. That ends this aspect of ayil v'nafik, of baki baratzoi, baki v'shoiv. The next thing that we're going to start on, and I think we'll probably just stop and save it for next time, because it's a whole new aspect, is going to be, we're going to take these concepts and add a new piece to the puzzle. This new piece to the puzzle is going to be very Kabbalistic, right from the writings of the Arizal, and we're going to be looking at these special aspects of the different letters and what they mean on a deeper level in Kabbalah. And I have a lot of sheets that I made to help to understand. But the main thing is that that we should take with us. We're heading now very soon into Rosh Hashanah, right? This Motzei Shabbos, for those of us who are not Svardim, is going to be the beginning of Slichas. We're mamish at that point. And what we see from this, and what we're going to see the next time we get together in a very, very deep way, is that by humbling ourselves in every aspect of our service to Hashem, really what we do when that happens is we bring together our own existence with the highest aspects of Hashem, with Keser. And we remove all those barriers that are between us. And we connect to Hashem on a very deep level. And when I'm going up high, if I remain humble, then I'm able to connect on that level. When I'm in a low place and I remain humble and I don't pass everything off, I know that Hashem is here with me and I know that He's helping me, right? I'm able to connect to Hashem on that deep level. Wherever we are in our journey, coming into Rosh Hashanah, we have the ability to be an expert in whichever way we're going. Some of us right now are maybe on highs a little bit. And our Avodah Hashem, we're moving. And things are going great. So we have a certain avodah coming into Rosh Hashanah. Maybe some of us are on lows, some of us are experiencing pain, right? We also have an avodah. We also have a work that we need to do. The main thing is to remember that wherever we are able to remove all of the ego out of our vessel and throw out our anger, throw out our ego, throw out our taivas, our physical desires, all those things that we're doing that we don't want to be doing, they're filling up our vessel. And when our vessel is full of all that garbage, we can't receive what Hashem is trying to give us. We can't receive the light from Hashem. Now's the time. Let's humble ourselves. Let's throw that stuff out of our vessel. And remember that Hashem has everything for us, and Hashem does everything for us. Everything that He's doing for us is meant for us to come close to Him. Now's the time. We're almost there. Are there any questions?
So Hashem,
Yeah.
in this, that there's challenges that we cannot handle.
Right. So, interesting you say that. There seems to be a universal agreement amongst everyone that I've ever talked to that Hashem never gives us a challenge that we can't handle. Right? So, this actually, something to do with this came up in last week's parsha. So you know the parsha of the Ben Soyer Moira, the, what's that in English? The rebellious, gluttonous, whatever, son, right? So we have this Kabbalah meaning a tradition. It's brought down in the Gemara that such a situation never happened and never will happen, right? One of the things that we learned from that I heard brought down from Reb Melech Biederman in Eretz Yisrael is that you see that Chazal told us that this is something in the Torah that Hashem is saying that won't happen. And therefore we had to say it, right? In other words, we had to say that there's a situation that could happen that a person wouldn't be able to handle. They would be in such a situation that they could not, I don't know if everyone's familiar with the concept, but this person is a child who drinks a lot of wine and eats a lot of meat and doesn't listen to what their parents say and is very strong in this. And the Beis Din says that this boy is not going to ever do tshuva and he's going to get worse and worse and worse, so therefore we're putting him to death. Because we don't want him to dig himself farther into a hole, right? So the fact that Chazal came and told us that this particular case is something that will never happen, because a person cannot be given such a challenge that they can't get out of. To be in such a case where there's no hope for them, right? Shows us that any other thing is open game. Right? Anything else that Hashem gives us, we can break through. Any situation that Hashem gives us, we're able to get through. We can handle that challenge. So I know that I've been through different challenges and I don't pass the test. And I go through the challenge a number of times. And so there's been a few times where I've gone through the challenge a number of times and I've come out the other end. Right? Chas v'shalom, this is one of Rabbi Nachman's most famous and important teachings. I cannot give up hope. Ein shum yush ba'olam klal. No despair, no giving up. Right? It just means I haven't mastered it yet. It's not the time yet. I still have more work to do. Right? Soon I'll get that promotion. Soon my muscles will be big enough that I can get into the next bodybuilding competition. What a terrible muscle, but. Right? Soon I'll get to the next level, but right now I'm working. Okay, I didn't make it. I got to work again. I didn't make it. I got to work again. And I know Hashem's helping me, and Hashem wants me here, and Hashem's helping me to do what I can. And I have full confidence that Hashem's going to pull me through, and I'm going to make it. I'm not giving up. No despair. You with me? Yeah? Okay, good. Any other questions? Comments? Anything? No? Okay, shkoyach everybody. I want to wish everybody a Gemara Chesiva V'Chesima Tova, and look forward to seeing everyone after Rosh Hashanah, everyone illuminated with a good judgment and written in the book of life. And Be'ez Hashem will be back to finish Torah Vav. Shkoyach. Thank you.